Okay, so now that we've done the base, we can work on the top. And for that, I've got one piece of my medium weight chipboard to 6 7/8 by 6 7/8, and I've kind of tried on how does it fit best, because I know this chipboard is not always completely straight, and in one way it fits a little bit better than in the other way, and that's why I have a little arrow here that says drawer, so I know that it should be in this way, and then it has the best fit. And you can leave it there. You can wrap this with the cardstock, or I will show you how we will wrap it over the box. But I like to make a window in here, which you can leave out completely. I'm going to use different type of chipboard for that. Because I've bought a different brand of chipboard online and it was totally not what I wanted, but it's perfect usable for frames and that sort of stuff. But I'm going to do a double layer because I want to be able to use some dimension in the window. So you can do one layer, you can leave it out, or you can do 2 layers just like I did. So for your window part, again, you're gonna cut your chipboard to 6 7/8 by 6 7/8, and I draw a frame 7/8 of an inch. I just felt that that was visually a nice thickness of the frame for this measurement. And then you will have your window will be 5 1/8 of an inch square. So I need to do that on this one still, or I need to cut it out. But I did draw the frame at 7/8 of an inch from my edge, and then I'm going to cut it out. And then I'm going to stick the 2 frames together. So I am going to cut my frame in my paper trimmer. I think it's a little bit quicker now. So I'm just lining it up with that wire and just bring it up and down. So do that on all 4 sides. And then I'm going to finish it off with my straight blade, because I'm not going to get completely through with my trimmer. Sometimes I need to finish the corners on the other side because I'm not getting completely through there. Let's see. Yes, there we go. Now the really clean corner here. Okay, now I'm going to see if I can put them together in a way where they somehow line up. Not really. So this is one of the reasons why I don't really like to use my paper trimmer for the frames, because I always cut off a little bit. Okay, I'm guessing this is my best way to go. You see how far I'm off here? Because I'm also having my eye on the outer edge. I want it to be lined up, and this is 2 layers. It's just a little bit more sensitive to mistakes. Where the 1 layer, it's not. But it's not high enough for me. Okay, this is a good way to go. Okay, so let me see if I'm putting the white together. How does that work? A little less, so we're gonna do it like this. Okay. Okay, so I'm flipping it over so I know this is how it's supposed to go. I'm going to just use my glue to place these frames on top of each other. So this needs to dry for a little bit. I don't know how well this white side of this chipboard is reacting to my wet glue. I think I will be fine, but don't mess with it too much now. I've got a piece of cardstock, white. I did 8¼ by 8¼ I just want to have a nice border on the outside, a little bit more than ½ an inch, which I believe I have here. I think about 5/8 of an inch or something. You can cut it a little bit larger if you want to, but this will work. So I'm going to put some double-sided tape. I'm going to do a double-sided tape. Yeah. Around the perimeter of this chipboard so I can stick it on to the cardstock. Okay, you have to keep in mind that the side that we are going to stick on the cardstock is going to be the front. It's going to be the side that you see. And I liked how my frame looks on this side a little bit better than it looks on this side. So I have my tape here as well. Well, that's fine for later. But this side that I'm going to stick down onto my cardstock. So I get my cardstock right here and I'm going to remove all the tape backing. Okay. So I'm not going to do any wet glue. It's just try to aim to get it centered on it so you have an even border on all sides. If you're off a little bit, no big deal. I'm going to give that a good burnish. And then I'm going to draw my frame on the inside, and because I'm having 2 layers, and in the meanwhile, oh, it's lying right next to me. I was looking for my pencil. Because I have 2 layers, I'm not going to do ½ an inch, but 5/8 of an inch, just to give me a little bit more room with cardstock to wrap over. And you don't have to be too precise, but I like to have sort of a guideline. And then we're just going to cut out that center part because we don't need it. And I need to replace my blade here quickly with all the chipboard. So I'm just going to go freely here, just try. Like I said, you don't have to be too precise, but a guideline is nice. Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to put some tape. And I can use some really thin tape around the perimeter of that cardstock. Or you use wet glue, right? That's also fine. Just go however you prefer to go. I'm giving it a quick burnish, and now I'm going to cut the cardstock from the corner of the chipboard towards the corner of the cardstock to make individual flaps. Okay, now I'm going to try something, and I'm not sure if it works because this chipboard is not white. And I probably will see a little bit of it, but no, it's not working. I'm not even gonna bother. My scoring tool. Here you are. So I'm going to score this cardstock up to the chipboard edge. So I prevent cracking of that cardstock. And pre-fold that a little bit. This is 65-pound weight cardstock, so it folds over a little bit easier than the heavier weight cardstock. And now I'm just going to wrap over these flaps onto the frame. So I already had my tape here. You can place some extra tape here if you want to. But you can also, and that's probably what I would have done if I did not have the tape there, just add some wet glue here. And then you don't need the tape, because probably I will have some bare double-sided tape when I'm done. So I have that bare tape there, so I'm just going to put some tape backing on top of it so it doesn't stick everywhere. Because next up, let's close my glue. I am going to also give a little bit of a score mark here on the outside of the frame. And I'm going to put some double-sided tape on the outside perimeter, and you don't have to go all the way to the corner because we are going to cut off the corners. But when we cut off the corners, we want to leave a little bit more space between the chipboard corner and your cardstock edge than we would normally do, because you have a little bit more height to cover. So I'm just a little bit pre-folding this here, and then with my scissors I'm just eyeballing it, but I'm making sure that I leave enough room between my chipboard corner and my paper, because I don't want to get a naked corner, so I'd rather have a little bit too much than not enough. So I'm turning it over now, and working with the white is always dangerous. It gets a little bit messy, but we'll cover most of it up with pattern paper anyway. But still, this is something that I like to do. It's just satisfying. I am going to really burn this cardstock up against the edge of the chipboard. And I just love how the way that looks later on. So don't worry about this, we will fix that later. I just love how that shape of the frame is showing now. Okay, so this is prepared. We still have our large base piece, right? And we are going to attach this on top of each other. I end up with 3 layers of chipboard, right? Quite thick piece. But before I can attach this on top of each other, I need to decide on the pattern paper that I want here. That's going to create a base for your, whatever it is that you want to put there. I'm going to look in the collection. So I'm using the Knit With Baby Neutral collection, the new release. I'm going to look for some elements that I want to place together. I like to work with some dimension. Maybe I want something like a phrase that says welcome baby, or something like that, and just make a nice piece that you can showcase on a shelf or on a closet or something, really to put somewhere where it's a nice view to look at, right? So so that is what we need to decide on, and I would not go for a really busy pattern. They have this beautiful flower pattern in the collection, but I think I'm going to look for something either a little bit solid or with a calm pattern in there, which would probably not be something hard to do with the Knit With collections. And then we also have to think about the pattern that we want to combine that with here on the outside of the frame. So that is our next step. We need to put pattern paper on this piece before we can glue all of it together, and then we can make our little showcase piece there. Okay, so I've chosen to just decorate it and put the acetate on before I'm going to attach it onto my actual box. But you can also wait with that until it's on there, right? It's up to you to decide. So I have the bundle from the neutral collection, and the yellow here is the gold yellow from the solids. The background with the heart on it that was already pre-made in the collection is from the FQB. It's a square, there are some squares in there. Then I have the rosebuds from the FQB. I think the ribbon was also in the FQB, and this is a dice that I showed it in while I was filming from another collection that I used because I just liked it. And again, I've used the gold yellow for my die with the white background. And I've added some sewing thread for some extra dimension. So I kept it pretty simple actually this time. You can add shaker elements if you want to, all of that is possible. And of course I also kept in account the direction that I had it in. I decided to make it where the drawers will be on the side. So I'm going to place it on the like in this orientation, and then I have a solid on the bottom so I can also stand it up straight, and then it will, the drawers, I don't have to put it on top of the drawers, right? So at this moment I am ready to glue all of this on top of my box, and we need to do all of these strips. So what am I going to do? I'm going to remove all the tape backing. No, I'm sorry, I'm not going to remove all the tape backing. I'm going to leave it on. I'm going to remove the tape backing once it is on. So all that I'm going to do is, I have my tape here. I am going to put some wet glue on my chipboard edges, and I'm going to align it as best as I can. It's going to be really hard to get this in camera really good, but I'm going to do my best. You just want it to be lined up as best as you can. So again, the wet glue is for extra strength here now until I can have all my tape in place. But the glue takes time to dry, right? So I'm just putting a little thin strip on those chipboard edges. And I'm going to use a tool to peel away all the tape backing in a minute. And that's going to be well, somewhat difficult here and there, but we're going to do our best. So I'm going to try to fold my white cardstock a little bit up so I can try to see my edges. And I'm just going to try, there's no tape there, no, just checking for myself, to get it all aligned. And so we have some wiggle time, right? Because that's why I don't remove all the tape backing, because otherwise I would be stuck right now before I want that. So okay, I'm kind of happy with how this is. Let's check all the sides one more time. I'm going to put it down, try to hold it in place, and I just remove the tape backing here on one side, and I'm going to get a bone folder. Kind of feel that I've moved it here. Yes, I did. I was reaching for my bone folder and I just felt that I slipped it out of place. Okay, it's back in place. So I am remove that tape backing there, and I'm just going to burnish that. I removed the tape backing here, right? Yeah. I was in doubt because it didn't want to stick, but it's there. Okay, and then I will move to the other side to do the same thing. Okay, I need to get another bone folder because we have that overlapping. We have the overlapping here, and we need to fold that in just like we do with a cover, and you want to try to make it as flat as you can, but because I've already did that burnishing earlier, I've kind of pre-folded that a little bit. Okay. So I did the solid sides first, maybe that's a good thing to know, because here we have the openings and we need to make our cuts to fold it over the chipboard edges. So here we have that chipboard, and I am going to cut, and I can kind of see to where my thick chipboard is going. I have 3 layers of chipboard, and I'm going to cut up to that point. And again, I have about 1/8 of an inch of space, and I might even have cut it a little bit too far, but I can live with that. Okay, here I'm not happy. I'm going to cut myself away a little bit more. So I'm just going to work my way to where I can fold this over. Try not to cut all the layers away, because we still want to cover the black chipboard. At least in my case, the black chipboard. See here, I could have done a better job there. But I guess this is what I have to deal. This is what I have to accept. Okay, and I will put a little bit of wet glue against my chipboard here for a nice straight edge. Oh my goodness, not very smart of me, because before I'm going to fold these sides over, of course I need to remove the tape backing from the hinges here. Let's see if I can still reach it, I hope, because I've glued them down a little bit with the last piece. So I'm using this tool, I'm not sure what it's called, to get that tape backing removed from those flaps. And I need to do it in the right order, otherwise I'm sticking one down where I still need to remove the tape backing. So this takes a little bit of patience here. And because I need to do this for all the spaces, right? So here I've already glued it down a little bit. Oh, I can get it underneath there. And give that a good burnish. So I need to do the same thing here. I've already glued it down a little bit, so it's a little bit harder to reach. Okay, let's do it better here. Okay, a little bit more glue now here, because now I can finish this. Okay, so that is one side. I still need to make the aligned pieces for the top. I am going to do that. You could leave it out, but I think it's just nice if it's all finished, right? So here I need to do the same thing on this side. I need to remove all my tape backings first before I am going to do anything with this flap here. Okay. Whew. So now again I'm going to make my cuts here, and let's see if I can stay away a little bit more than I did on the other side. I can kind of see my fold in the paper, and I try to stay away from that a little bit in the hope that I cover all my black. Probably want to cut this a little bit more. Yes. I try to prevent to put it upside down on my work surface, because I don't want to get my pattern paper to get dirty. So I'm holding it in my hand a little bit. I'm adding some wet glue here and there. It's gonna help me to give it all a good stick. I'm really trying to fold this in here. Okay, I'm not unhappy with this. Again, I have a little bit of black showing, but it's not too bad. Okay, so now what I need to do is make the alignment pieces for the top to finish it all off with white. So what did I do? 3 1/4. Okay, final piece. So I just measure, right, all my spaces, the depth, the width, to cut my pieces of white, and I got it a little bit smaller than the actual measurement, and then I give it a dry fit to make sure that it fits. And I do this with wet glue, and I especially make sure that my edges have a good stick. I give it a really good burnish, especially on the edges and the corners. So I'm really trying to get in there with my bone folder, taking the time to really get those edges and corners stuck down. And you have to reach sometimes. Okay, so now our box is basically done. I will probably cut myself a piece here. I would do that 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. Yep, for a small edge, just to finish it off here. And then all we need to do is make our drawers to go in here. So I think I will do that in a separate video. So we just have, I think, 3 videos for this little project. But I will just do them quickly after each other. So you can keep going. I see that I'm not really happy with how this is stuck down here. So I'm going to put some glue there. Just have some look at the details. And then we will make our drawers.